Hey y'all, it's Missniecytv and I'm here to do a review for Zatima Season 4, Episode 11. The episode picks up with Zatima coming home from the hospital and she sees Deja outside and they have a conversation. They have their back and forth normal banter and then Deja realizes a hospital bracelet on Fatima's arm and she's like, "Is that a hospital bracelet?" Fatima's like, "Yeah, I was in the hospital." Deja's like, "Are you okay?" Fatima's like, "I'm standing here," and Fatima, she was just trying to be nice. Then Fatima's like, "I just want to thank you for not telling Zach about, Deja's like, "What are you talking about?" Then Fatima's like, the whole thing about Leslie and everything. Deja's like, "Well, between the neck injury that you gave me and me falling off the pole a couple times head first, I probably have a few concussions and it caused me to block." Fatima's like, "Well, Zach knows about it now, so you don't really have to put up the whole front. You can just forget about it." Deja's like, "Okay, but I won't forget is that you like your man built in husky." Fatima's like, "What are you talking about? Because Zach is neither one of those things." Deja's like, "So you're going to play like you don't know what I'm talking about? So this is basically like the whole stalker thing. I'm supposed to act like I don't know." Fatima's generally confused because she doesn't know what she's talking about. So her and Deja continue the banter about that. Then Fatima goes in the house and she sees this man in the house, so she immediately pulls out the blicky and she's like, "Who are you?" The man is like, "I'm Charles, the new bodyguard." And Fatima's like, "I'm going to kill Zach." And Fatima, as you should, because Zach should have communicated the fact that he was actually going to get you a bodyguard. Even though he said he was, he should have allowed you to pick the bodyguard that you like to see if you would be a compatible fit with each other. Charles tells Fatima it's his job to keep her safe and make sure she's not around any threats or anything like that. Charles is like, "I'm here anytime that Mr. Taylor isn't or when you tell me to go home." I'm like, Charles seems pretty cool, but I wonder how all of this is going to play out. Over in the hood, we see Connie rummaging through the things that she was able to salvage from her fire. As she's rummaging through the things, she takes a minute and she calls Zach, and she basically lets him know everything that's going on with her, from the fact that she has stage 2 breast cancer, how her house caught on fire, and how her kids are taken away. Zach is like, "Well, why didn't you tell anyone?" Connie's like, "Well, I didn't want to be a burden on anyone." Connie's the type of person that she'll take care of the world, but when it's time for the world to take care of her, she rejects it because she doesn't want to be a burden. Connie's like, "I did tell Tony about the cancer." Zach is like, "So you told him, but you didn't tell me? That's crazy." Connie's like, "I only told him not to tell you because I didn't want to be a burden." And Zach is like, "You're not a burden on anybody, Connie. Let me help you." So he basically tells her that he's going to come see her after he gets done with work. It's like, honestly, Connie did try to tell you, but at the time that she was trying to tell you, that's when you got a call from the rehab center saying that Jeremiah left and the $5,000 is non-refundable. Once Zach gets off the phone with Connie, he calls Fatima and he basically lets her know that he won't be home early from work and he has to go stop by Connie's house. Fatima had every right to feel the way that she feels because she's like, "So you're going to go check on Connie, but you're not going to come here? After I just got out of the hospital, we were supposed to spend time together." Zach is like, "Yeah, but Connie's in real deep trouble." Once Zach gets off the phone with Fatima, Fatima calls Angela and she basically lets her know everything that's going on with Zach and Connie and how Zach is going over to Connie's house because Connie's in trouble. And Angela's like, "Well, you just got out of the hospital. You should be there with you." Fatima invites Angela over for dinner and Angela's like, "Okay, I'm coming. I gotta get dressed." Over at the rehab center, we see Jeremiah have a conversation with Dr. Salas, and he basically tells her that he wants to get help, and his brother paid $5,000 for him to get help. And Dr. Salas is like, "Yeah, I know, Mr. Taylor did, but once you left, all your payments were non-refundable, and we can't use those payments anymore." As Jeremiah leaves, Dr. Salas has a change of heart, and she basically tells him, "I can get you into somewhere, but it's not going to be prestigious and high up like this. It's going to be a little bit run down, but it's going to be on you to make the choice to stay every day." Dr. Salas asks Jeremiah if he has a support system. Jeremiah is like, no. She also asked him if Zach is still his emergency contact. Jeremiah's like, "Yeah, but you won't have to call him for anything. I'm determined to do this on my own." Something about Jeremiah's demeanor told me that he really wants to get help and he really wants to change. I think him almost overdosing scared him. I think he really wants to change, not only for himself, but for his mother and his children and his brother. Back over at Zach and Fatima's, we see Angela come over and she's greeted by the bodyguard, and the bodyguard basically tells her that he has to pat her down. And Angela, she's all attracted to the bodyguard, so of course she's gonna let him do it. And Fatima's like, "Girl, really?" Angela's like, "Yeah, he has to make sure I'm not a threat or anything." So Angela and Fatima sit down and have a conversation, and Angela asks Fatima where Zach was at, and Fatima's like, "He's with Connie." And Angela's like, "So you just got out of the hospital from a very scary situation and he's over with his head?" Fatima's like, yeah, but it had to be something serious for him to rush off the phone. And I kind of did push him away. Angela's like, well, you should have never left anyway. He should be here with you. I'm with Angela when she's right. Angela's like, well, we can go do a drive-by, not one like a pew, but just to go see what's going on, right? Fatima's like, you're supposed to keep me calm, and right now you're stressing me out. Angela's basically trying to make it seem that Connie and Zach are doing something, and Fatima's like, well, why would he be doing something when he got me? Angela's like, so you asking me why niggas would do something? Fatima's like, I just hope she's okay, though. Angela's like, you hope she's okay? Fatima's like, yeah, she must be in big trouble for him to rush over there like that. Then Zach comes in and Charles does his job and he hams Zach up. And Zach is like, you alright? It's just you doing your job. That's what I pay you for. Then he goes to talk to Fatima and he's like, can Connie stay here for the night? And Angela and Fatima look at him like, what are you talking about? Like, what? You lost your mind. That's when Connie comes in and she's like, hi, Fatima. And Fatima's like, hi. Zach, how are you just gonna ask that question without even letting Fatima know that Connie was in the car or telling Connie to wait in the car until you got an answer? Over at the rehab center, Dr. Salas goes in to check on Jeremiah and he tells her that he has a shake, so she gives him some type of medicine, but he refuses it because he thinks it's a narcotic. She's like, it's not a narcotic, it's just something that will help you calm down from your shakes, right? And Jeremiah eventually takes the medicine, but then he asks her to pray with him. And he's like, Lord, just let me get through this. I want to get better. Like I said before, I truly think that Jeremiah is determined to get better and get the help that he needs. Back over at Zach and Fatima have a conversation. And Zach is like, you know you can say no, right? Fatima's like, I know I can say no, but you already brought it here. So just tell me what's going on. So Zach tells her everything that's going on with Connie, from the cancer and the kids to the house burning on fire. Fatima's like, why didn't she tell anyone? And Zach is like, well, she didn't want to be a burden on anybody. She doesn't have anybody. And Fatima's like, well, she could stay on the couch tonight. Zach is like, thank you. And Fatima's like, you don't have to thank me. I love who you love. And Fatima's a really good woman. Even with the circumstances that's going on with Connie, a lot of women wouldn't allow their man to exit into Angela and Connie have a conversation. And basically, Angela's kind of mean to her at first until she sees the port on Connie's chest. She lets Connie know that she's fighting the good fight and she'll get through this. And she also reveals to Connie that her aunt beat cancer 5 years ago. And she said that her tribe and her people were what got her through it. Angela and Connie agreed to get along and they call it a truce. And Angela's like, this truce is only temporary until you get better. Connie's like, thank you, but no thank you. I don't need you. Then Zach and Fatima talk about Connie getting her kids back. And Zach is like, I know I'm asking for a lot, but can you help her? Fatima's like, you know it's a process with Michael, so it's going to be hard, but I could try. Zach is like, are you still going to hit me? Fatima's like, what are you talking about? Zach is like, you said on the phone that you were going to hit me for hiring a bodyguard. Fatima's like, about that, you better not be a criminal. Zach is like, it's funny that you're judging because you're about to marry one. Fatima's like, you right. Fatima and Zach go over and they have a conversation with Connie. They're basically like, I just want to let you know that you're not a burden and that you could have told us, and I know it's hard for you because you carry the world and it's hard to ask. They tell her that they will be there to help her navigate this journey, and I'm like, Connie, you have a very good support system behind you. And this whole storyline with Connie is so sad, it honestly breaks my heart. Then Zach sends Charles home and he basically tells Charles that Fatima leaves for work at 8 o'clock in the morning, and Charles is like, well, I'll be here at 7. Zach is like, don't do that because I pay you by the hour. So if she has to go to work at 8 o'clock, you be here at 7:59. So Angela decides to leave too, so Charles walks her out to her car, and I can already see that Charles and Angela are going to wind up doing something together. Some time passes, and it's nighttime now, and Zach and Fatima are sleeping in their bed, and as they're sleeping, they hear a noise. So Zach gets up, he grabs the blicky. Fatima gets up because she wants to go too. So they go downstairs, and they just see Connie just throwing up. So they immediately get her to the point where she can sit up, and she just tells them that it's hard and going through chemo is hard and it just takes a lot out of her. They immediately embrace her and give her so much love, and I'm like, Connie truly needed that because she doesn't have anyone and her family is not there to support her. Connie is honestly going through a lot, and I hope during this situation she realizes how many people she actually does have and how many people actually do care about her and are willing to help her in her time of need. I hope that Connie knows that she doesn't always have to carry the world on her shoulders. There's always going to be somebody there to carry it for her. I hope that things in Connie's life turn around for the better, and that she will be able to get her kids back, and that she will be able to live a happy and healthy life Please let me know what you guys think about this episode. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your bell notifications. Bye.